Hello folks and welcome. My name is Mr. Moff and today I have for you a 3 versus 3 match in the Operation Market Garden mod for Company of Heroes. We're playing on the map Tanteville, and on the allied side we have Stormtrout, Pernuter, and Young Olaf, and on the axis are Olazyka, Pidgeotto, and Alex. So I'll give you a quick look at the units that the players are starting with, and then we will be off. For Pidgeotto, on the right, we are seeing a big start of 5 Volksgrenadier squads. Alex is starting with a Panzer IV, some Stormtroopers with MP44s, and some Grenadiers and Pioneers. On the left, we have a double KCH start from Olazyka, along with a Terror Officer and some Panzerschrecks. On the bottom, for the Allies, Young Olaf is starting with a Jumbo and a Sniper, along with some rifles. Stormtrout is starting with a heavy support weapon start for the Brits, lots of mortars and machine guns along with some Piats. And Pernuter is starting with a Churchill infantry support tank, as well as a, let's see what's in this kangaroo here, Pernuter, Piat section and a Bren section. So, without any further ado, let us get started. So this is an interesting matchup because both players are starting with a tank, but the allied tank has significantly more frontal armor. The Jumbo has Panther frontal armor. And additionally, the allied side doesn't really have any indirect fire to counter the sort of machine gun and mortar spam that's going to be going on in the middle here. So the Axis are going to want to push aggressively at the start to counter these setups before the Allies get sort of entrenched. Meanwhile, on the left, the sort of infantry start from Olazyka does have some Panzerschrecks, but he might struggle dealing with this Churchill. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Looks like the Allies are starting spread out along their front, whereas the Axis is focusing more on the right, which is on the one hand leaving the left flank open to capture, but if the Axis plays their card right, maybe they'll be able to break through the sort of Allies and get a good foothold in the territory early on. So let's see how that goes. We have the KCH moving up in the middle, trying to break through. They seem to have found an opening with these machine guns. Maybe the machine guns aren't set up. Where are the machine guns? There's one. But it looks like, oh, we hit some mines, it looks like. Didn't see those go down. I guess that makes sense with the Pioneers. And now all of this green infantry is caught in the crossfire between these two machine guns. Meanwhile, the Panzer IV is taking on the Jumbo. Didn't see what brought this down to such low health, but it's not looking good. If the Panzer IV can get some flanking hits on this Jumbo, that can go down, and that would be a bad start for the Allies. Looks like these machine guns have been neutralized by some grenades and artillery, but the Churchill and Kangaroo are coming to the rescue, swinging around the back, doing its suppression move to bring down all this infantry, but the Panzerschrecks are chipping away at its health, not looking good. Units going down on both sides, Jumbo moving up again. Panzer IV is getting ready to finish off the Churchill. Can the Jumbo save it? Nope. There goes the Churchill. So that's one tank down. Panzer IV likely to be next with these Piats and the Jumbo shooting in the back. Kangaroo still at full health, just chewing through some of this infantry here. First round of reinforcements is on the way. More Volksgrenadiers from Pidgeotto and a Stug from Olazyka. See if that can deal with the Jumbo. I know the penetration on the Stug isn't that great, so we'll have to see some flanking moves. These mortars from Stormtrout definitely doing some work picking apart this infantry while it tries to deal with this Kangaroo carrier. Axis down to just this Panzerschreck, and the Panzerschreck goes down to the mortar. Let's see how the Sniper's been doing. Sniper only has 1 kill, so not too much so far. Looks like Olazyka was going for a play with the KCH against the mortars, but got caught out by this machine gun, and now is getting run down by the rifles. Panzer IV, a new Panzer IV on the field from Alex. and some Panzerfausts out from the Volksgrenadiers on the Kangaroo. If another one of those goes off, or a good shot from the Panzer IV goes out, we can see this Kangaroo go down, but the Panzer IV is on the back foot. Another Churchill, or is that the same? No, a new Churchill. A new Churchill from Pernuter. Kangaroo goes down. Lots of armor on the start here from both sides. More Panzerfausts going off on the Churchill, but the Churchill again suppressing this infantry. Going for the crush. Oof. Lots of Volksgrenadiers going down to this Churchill. Stug is getting aggressive, but it's opening its backside up to all these Piats. Really explosive start from both sides here. Panzer IV taking hits from the Piats as well. Doesn't look good for this Stug. Doesn't have a turret, so it can't actually aim and fire on the move very effectively against this Churchill in close quarters here. So, Ozaiku is going to be looking to back that off, get it out of range of these Piats, out of way of the Churchill. Maybe fix it up. No repair bunker on yet from the... Oh, I take it back. There's one here. One repair bunker on from Alex to get that Panzer IV and Stug fixed up. Of course, it can only repair one at a time, most of the time, unless you get lucky in the... or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, in the repair pioneer split up. More Volksgrenadiers coming up from Pidgeotto. Starting to think his entire company is just Volksgrenadiers. So, for the moment, the Allies seem to have come out on top. There were some pretty heavy casualties from both sides, but I do think the Axis definitely took more losses there. So, Stormtrout getting dug in with these mortar pits, which are going to be a real pain. He's got two here. A real pain to get rid of for the Axis if they don't do something quickly. Repair bunker is fixing up the Panzer IV. The Stug is moving over to the left. Not sure what the play is with this. Now, Axis is bringing in some indirect fire to try to counter these mortars and maybe sort of deal with these Piat blobs. We'll have to see what sort of target they go for, but they do have a bike to scout for the next target. That's good as well. This is a good play. They're going for a back cap on the left here. In fact, this actually looks more like a full-on push. Try to get some of this territory equalized, since the Allies have got a firm foothold in the town and are likely not going to be giving it up anytime soon with the mortar pits dug in here. And indeed, one is now operational with the mortar occupying the mortar pit. Heavy infantry engagement going on here. Just a couple of infantry sections for Pernuda, one with the Bren. Grenades going off from the Volksgrenadiers, wiping out, cleaning house with that Bren section. Axis are making a heavy push over here on the right, whereas the Allies are looking rather lethargic to respond. Perhaps they're just hoping to sort of stop this push using the fortifications that they've built up here in the town. Not looking good for the sacrificial lamb that is this infantry section, while the Allies are regrouping to deal with this push. The scout bike goes down to the Piats. I don't believe the Walking Stuka has picked a target yet. Perhaps it's just waiting for the Allies to sort of reveal their hands and group up. Alright, here it goes. My guess is somewhere around in here, this area, to deal with the mortar. Yes, indeed, it does come down, but friendly fire on the Volksgrenadiers, who are now going to occupy the mortar emplacement, which then is being destroyed and burned out by the Walking Stuka half-track. A bit of a lapse in coordination there by the Axis. Sniper is up to 8 kills now, so slowly chipping away at the Axis. And the Axis doesn't want to keep taking these losses, because with each sort of engagement here, they're making ground for sure, and they definitely want to do that because they now have a slight edge in the population gain. But generally speaking, and this goes doubly so now that young Olaf has a medic station on to sort of bring back these casualties, Allies generally have larger companies, more men to throw at the enemy than the Axis do. So each of these engagements, the Allies are, or excuse me, the Axis is going to want to be looking to trade a little bit more efficiently than they have so far. Axis, excuse me, the Brit mortar emplacements from Stormtrout just sort of, I'm not sure what they're shooting at actually. There's not a whole lot in range. Maybe they're trying to deny some support weapons? Not entirely sure. So both sides just sort of licking their wounds at the moment as more reinforcements come on. Pidgeotto, again with the Volksgrenadiers. Pidgeotto really likes his Volksgrenadiers. Lots of MP40s. I would not be surprised to see more Panzerfausts on these either. Not very common for players to invest in the Panzerfaust, but Pidgeotto, if he's going heavy on Volks and not many Grenadiers to carry Panzerschrecks, it sort of seems to me the way that he's working out his company. Now a Churchill Crocodile on from Pernuter, which is definitely going to spell trouble for these Volksgrenadiers if they can't deal with it. The officer, this might be the same, nope, it is a different officer. This is a defensive officer on from Pidgeotto. Not sure what happened to the terror officer. You can tell the difference because the terror officer has a Sturmgewehr, whereas the defensive officer only has a pistol. So Axis looks like they're making for another push on the left. Backcaps going well from Olizaika, but the Churchill Crocodile is moving over to have a say about that. We'll see what the Panzer IV can do. Panzer IV has been fixed up, and the Stug in the back is being fixed up as well. But both of them have taken some wear and tear. Their maximum hit points has been reduced. Okay, Panzer IV looking to sort of block. Yep, there are the Panzerfaust and the Volksgrenadiers. Panzer IV is looking to make the Churchill back off, save some of these Volksgrenadiers who are burning, but they seem to have mostly gotten away. And here come the MP40s. Biggest threat to these guys right now is the sniper and the mechanized infantry. But the mechanized infantry goes down. More Walking Stuka barrage is coming. More friendly fire on the Volksgrenadiers. Oof, that is just painful to see. Don't like to see that. Here comes a grenade from the Stormtroopers on the machine gun. Nice play. See what it does? Does not get the man operating the gun, which means these Stormtroopers are going to be pinned down and possibly continue to be picked off by the sniper. Not sure where the sniper went, but it did take a shot recently. Side armor hit from the Churchill Crocodile. Not looking good for this Panzer IV. Panzer IV has its back turned around. Likely going to go down. There's the Piats. There it goes. Job done. So, Axis on the retreat. More reinforcements coming on. A machine gun from Alex to try to tame these infantry blobs from the Allies. Canadian infantry without the sergeant upgrade, just sort of probing up to see what's going on with these reinforcements here, but not in a good spot, being pinned down by the machine gun here. Here is the sniper, up to 15 kills now. Pretty respectable, especially in the early game. He's got a lot of time left in this match to rack up the kills. Now the Stug has been fixed up down to 300 health flat, coming over on the left to sort of stop this crocodile from running rampant over the rest of the Axis forces. Another Walking Stuka coming on from Pidgeotto. Two, in fact. There's two on as well from Olizaika. So there's a heavy investment in artillery from the Axis right now, which on the one hand makes sense because they need to sort of have a way to deal with these mortar emplacements. But on the other hand, such a heavy investment, that's 4 Walking Stukas, this heavy investment in artillery is really going to cut into their field presence. We've got the Stormtroopers are sneaking up under cloak, perhaps going to try to throw a grenade at these. Yep, here it goes. And the engineers go down, sappers go down, so that mortar emplacement will not be finished for now, and the sappers dropped their Piats, which are now quickly going to be picked up by these rifles, or perhaps they won't. Interesting. Maybe he's got a fresh squad that he's looking to pick that up with. So, we'll have to see if these 4 Walking Stukas can sort of make a coordinated barrage to wipe out a good target. Fritz from Pernuda looking to push up on the left. Aggressive play from the Stug to try to get it to back off. Neither of these armored vehicles here has very good penetration versus the other vehicle's frontal armor, so we'll see how this goes. Sort of slugging match. The Stug actually seems to be focusing on the infantry. Here comes the first Walking Stuka barrage, likely coming down on this machine gun. Some pretty good hits, but does not kill the crew. They get away with 2 men. Stug continuing to be aggressive on this Churchill. Penetrating shot from the Churchill onto the Stug, not what we want to see for that. More casualties for the Axis here. You know, it's still pretty early on. A lot could happen, but so far, Well, saying that, the Churchill Crocodile getting very aggressive. Alex wants to get this pack. He's trying to get the pack out of here, but honestly, I feel like he should just set up and shoot because the thing is just going to chase him down. And he does get a shot off, brings the Churchill down to 227 health. A good flanking shot from the Stug or from a pack will be enough to cripple that and make it easy pickings to finish it off. But the pack is decrewed, and now this Churchill is free to run amok in the Axis back lines and do as it likes. With all of this unprotected stuff, there's no good anti-tank on left for the Axis except for the Stug. These Grenadiers don't have any anti-tank. The pack has been stolen now by the Axis, which is not looking good for this Panzer IV and the Stug. New Panzer IV coming on. Again, the Panzer IV and the Stug don't match up very well against the Crocodile, sort of a stalemate, but between the two of them and the Crocodile's low in health, maybe they can sort of outflank it and take it 2-on-1, but it's going to be that much harder now with the pack on, as well as these Piats, the Piats from the rifle section that picked up the ones that were dropped, as well as a Stuart coming on. This Stuart is, in fact, even though it is a lighter vehicle than the Axis tanks that are on, it is still dangerous because it is faster and more nimble than the Stug, and the Stug does not have a turret, which means the Stuart can be used to sort of get around behind the Stug and shoot it in the back. More Volksgrenadiers on from Pidgeotto, really likes those Volksgrenadiers. And Alex is probing up in the middle with his Grenadiers and Panzer IV, just sort of seeing what there is to see. Brit mortars have now shifted over towards the middle of the map. Look at all of these mortar emplacements. Ooh. Stormtrout basically just has the luxury to put his mortars wherever he wants on this map and be protected. So a little bit of a slow bit, although here comes another artillery barrage. More friendly fire on the Volksgrenadiers. Real shame to see. Just a waste of a squad here. And now the Honey is going to pick apart the rest of these squads here. Panzerfaust goes off, but rather ineffectual. Gets a good hit, good quarter of the health off, and then there goes the Volks. And these Volksgrenadiers, in most companies, are sort of a sort of meat shield throwaway squad that you use to protect and screen for other units. And so if you lose a squad, it's not that big of a deal. But with the way that this company seems to be set up, there's a lot of Panzerfaust, a lot of MP40s. It's a lot of munitions investments in these squads. More walking Stukas coming down on this mortar pit. Didn't see what happened to the mortar, if there was one in there. The fire is doing a lot of damage to the emplacement, though, so it looks like that emplacement will go off. Let's see how the sniper's doing. 26 kills on the sniper. Haven't been keeping a very close eye on him, but it seems like he's been doing work. Big dive from the Panzer IV into the Allied backlines, trying to crush this Piat squad before the Piat squad can kill it. But with the Stuart coming to sort of engage as well, getting some back hits on the Panzer IV doesn't look good. Stug coming in to back up the Panzer IV. Maybe they're trying to kill this medic station or just deal as much damage as they can. And for the moment, that is paying off. The Vet 2 Lieutenant is off for the Allies. Some of these emplacements are gone. Machine gun down to one guy. Piat stolen. We now have another Jumbo on for the Allies, though, which could prove to be a problem, because the only hard AT besides that Piat, which is now running off, interesting. I wonder if Alex has something else he wants to bring on that he needs the population for to sort of retreat this perfectly good Piat squad. Piat man, I should say. We have some advanced repairs on from Stormtrout to fix up and potentially over-repair this Stuart. And we have a pack. I don't know if this might be the pack that was stolen before. Probably is. A pack stolen from Stormtrout. So, armored vehicles. Not looking great. What are these guys being suppressed by? Ah, there is a machine gun emplacement now on from the Allies, being augmented by the firepower of these BAR rifles on the right side. So that is that lockdown. But we see Pidgeotto moving up his walking Stukas likely to sort of destroy this machine gun emplacement, getting really close range to reduce the scatter, make sure they all land exactly where he wants them. And we do have the incendiary barrages as well from the Stuka, which are going to do additional damage over time after the rockets have fallen. Is very likely this machine gun emplacement will go down. So good hit from that, as well as some grenades off from the Volksgrenadiers. So, with a little bit of support, if the rest of his teammates come to back him up, Pidgeotto could break through on this flank over here. We've got a mortar over from Alex as well. Yes, the right flank is now completely open. More fodder for the medic station from young Olaf. We see on the top side, Pernuter has now set up a trench in the crossroads here, which allows him to sort of contest both of these sectors while being completely protected by this trench. It protects it from snipers, protects it from a lot of sort of direct fire damage. So we're going to need to see some good indirect from these mortars and our walking Stukas. Speaking of the devil, they are appearing. More walking Stukas getting set up on the right side, so it looks like the Axis are indeed committed to a push on the right here, which is protected only by the Stuart and this recon section, although we do have more rifles coming up from young Olaf, and the Jumbo getting ready to push up in the mid, perhaps to take some of this pressure off. Has taken a lot of damage from something, and it's the advanced repairs coming up behind it. Want to be careful with that. Pull those off before they get ambushed. Looks like he's just sort of playing aggressive with us here, setting up a vanguard with the Jumbo. Of note, however, I thought this was a howitzer. It is not. It is a 17-pounder. So a lot of anti-tank on from the Axis. I think perhaps, at this point, perhaps a disproportionate amount of anti-tank for the amount of armor that the Axis is fielding. Another tank on from Pernuter, now this time a Cromwell cruiser tank. This engagement on the right over here, more infantry coming on from the Axis as reinforcements. And the Brit infantry that is dug in over here is doing okay for the moment, but a big heavy walking Stuk barrage coming down is going to burn down this medic station, so no more walking wounded for young Olaf at the moment, and this fire and grenade going to spell the end for this infantry squad for sure. But while all of this is going on, instead of reinforcing the right side, Pernuter has decided to take advantage of the fact that Axis is concentrating on the right to sort of push the left as it is minimally defended. So we will see how this sort of trade-off goes. Stuart light tank not doing too bad for itself, has not taken a lot of, if any, damage. Maybe it took a hit and was repaired, I'm not sure. Yes, because it's been worn and torn. Oh, careful with the sniper. Very lucky, managed to escape all of those hits. Up to 29 kills with the sniper now. And this Jumbo and the Stuart now are just going to pick apart. I imagine he's going for some Panzerfaust hits with these Volksgrenadiers. Maybe he's trying to kill off the advanced repairs? Yes, that seems to be what his rifles are shooting at. And he might get it. He has the advanced repairs down to one man, but if he doesn't get the kill... Oh, Jumbo goes down to the Stug. Well played between the Panzerfaust and the Stug. Jumbo does go down. Engineers, however, do live to repair another day. As long as they have one guy left, they will repair at the maximum repair rate with this advanced repair upgrade. So, really, losing the Jumbo, unfortunate, but it is a bit of a minor boon for young Olaf because this is now not taking up as much population for the same benefit. These Grenadiers have managed to flank around the back, but have been caught by this machine gun that Stormtrout has managed to capture and turn around to sort of shut down that flank. Meanwhile, Alex is sending some Grenadiers around the back, just probing to see what is here, but now we have a Pershing on from young Olaf, which with that Stuart, a hardy replacement for the Jumbo, to be sure. Looks like the Walking Stuka half-tracks from Pidgeotto are getting set up perhaps to destroy the triage station, or perhaps to go for the 17. Nope, looks like they're working to systematically take out all of the buildings that the Allies have to fuel their infantry play. So, an incendiary barrage coming down on the triage station, that is toast for sure. Looking at the map overall, both sides are now equalized on population gain, but in terms of overall pop, let's see, Axis is working with 38 population here, while the Allies are working with 40. So, Axis has sort of, I didn't really mention this, but they have been sort of on the back foot in population for most of this game. So they are now managing to sort of catch up. Although saying that, now having lost this section, I take that back. They are now losing pop again, and Axis is gaining it. Oh, pardon me, I have my directions turned around. No, Axis is now gaining population, so they are looking to equalize this 40 pop with the Allies. This push from Perneuter on the left beginning to pay off. Definitely sort of what's holding back the population drain. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch around the colors here because I have gotten myself confused. Allies blue, Allies with full health, Axis not looking good. With the population. So, all of that sorted out, we have another Walking Stuka barrage, just one this time. The other one going back for repairs. Walking Stuka barrage perhaps coming down on the 17-pounder. 17-pounder has been moved out of the way, but is now taking fire from the Volksgrenadiers. We have a Panzer IV on from Alex as well. A little bit wary to engage this very damaged Cromwell from Perneuter, and rightfully so, because it has a 17-pounder anti-tank gun to back it up. Now a Geschützwagen from Pidgeotto. So Axis now looking to sort of come up with a response to this armor on the field from the Allies, especially this Pershing, which is now in danger of killing off these Walking Stuka half-tracks if the Axis aren't careful. Working on this mortar as well, this Stug needs to get in there and take some shots. It is almost fully healed, no engine criticals or anything like that. No reason for it to be sitting in the back like this. It needs to get in and take some shots. What happened to that Geschützwagen? Here it is. Geschützwagen working on this infantry. Needs to... It's got a perfect opportunity to get a flanking hit on this Pershing while the Stug comes forward and hits it from the front. But it looks like, yes, here we go. Side shot, but in the meantime, Perneuter coming up with the Cromwell, getting rear hits. It turns out the Axis are in fact the ones getting sandwiched this time. Geschützwagen goes down with the flanking speed from the Cromwell tank. Now the Cromwell is looking for the crush on these Volksgrenadiers, gets 3 out of the squad right away. Going for the officer. Is he going to get the officer? Got a big hit from the main cannon. Doesn't look like he's going to get the crush, but does get the kill. Medkit from the officer at the last moment. Bit too late. Now the Stug is coming up looking for some retribution. But the Cromwell tank, much faster and more mobile than the Stug, looks like it's going to get away for now. In the meanwhile, Sniper in trouble. Pershing is trying to stop these Grenadiers from finding and killing the Sniper, but the Panzerschreck does miss. The Panzerschreck actually has an accuracy bonus against this Sniper, so if young Olaf is unlucky, this Panzerschreck might do the job, but it looks like the Sniper is going to get away for now. Panzerschreck instead deciding to get some hits on this Pershing. Sniper finishes off the Panzerschreck squad, but the Stug and a new Geschützwagen on to finish off this Pershing. Pershing does go down, along with the help from the Panzer IV that snuck in, so that is one big obstacle out of the way for the Axis. And as a matter of fact, the Allies are looking very thin on the board right now. Not a whole lot left in the town. In fact, nothing left in the town. All of the forces have now been concentrated on the left. More trenches going up for the Brits. And both sides are now on an even +1 on population. So that means both sides, the Axis now still at 38 pop. The sort of front line has definitely been going back and forth a lot. Both sides taking a lot of casualties. I still think the Axis have been trading a little bit less effectively, but at this point it really could go either way. The Pershing was a big loss for the Allies, so well played to the Axis, sort of surrounding that and getting that knocked out. while it was unsupported, sort of recognizing that and taking advantage of it. Ola Zyka, coming up with more Volksgrenadiers, managed to pick up that Panzerschreck that was dropped on the ground by the church. So Ola Zyka now has a Panzerschreck, perhaps the only one he has access to in his entire company, because I haven't, I think, noticed a single Grenadier or other unit that can actually take a Panzerschreck. Big reinforcement wave coming from young Olaf, taking advantage of the sort of lost population from that Pershing going down, now replacing it with a heavy infantry. Lots of riflemen, and then a mechanized infantry supported with an AT gun, and some engineers on the right, which are going to spot these Wagenstufe half-tracks, bringing down a huge barrage on this infantry. Now the tank's coming in for the crush. Anti-tank gun is not facing the right direction. Wagenstuke is damaging these tanks, but oh, there it is. I thought it was going to get around the side, but was for naught. The wear and tear now showing the toll that it has taken on that Stug, repairing so many times. Big hit from the anti-tank gun takes out the Stug, and now the Stuart, over-repaired, up to 344 health out of 209, perhaps going to take out the Panzer IV here if it can get a good shot in the back, taking advantage of the speed bonus from the road to get around. Panzer IV is facing its frontal armor effectively, so that the Stuart cannot get a rear hit, while avoiding the 57, trying to get a hit in, but does not manage to finish off the crew, and the 57 takes out the Panzer IV. So what are we looking at on armor now? We have a Geschützwagen, which is not really armored. We have a new Stug on from Ola Zyka, and a new Churchill. 2 Churchills on from Pernuder. Lots of armor play in this game. Lots of infantry taking casualties to said armor. And the Volksgrenadiers on the right are in full retreat. So now it looks like it is time for the Allies to counter-attack. Some infantry and machine guns on from Stormtrout, working to finish off these Volksgrenadiers, while the Churchills advance, looking to get some side armor hits on the Stug and take out the Geschützwagen at the same time. What is there to back it up? Another Pershing on from young Olaf. Wow. I will need to double check the resupply on these Pershings, but I believe you have to... I was not aware you could get more than one in the same company. Geschützwagen now going down to the Churchill rush. I think the other Churchill, yes, that looks like the Churchill has gone down here. Churchill diving for these walking Stuka half-tracks. Damaged engine from the Stug. Looks like the half-track is just going to get away with a sliver of health. Pershing now running down all of these infantry, likely going to finish off this walking Stuka if he manages to target it before it turns away. Does not do so, but the Pershing, unlike other heavy tanks in this game, is very fast and managed to, yes, there it goes, finish off the walking Stuka, and now a easy hit to finish off this Stug, protect the Churchill. Churchill is walking wounded to be sure, but oh, Panzerfaust, forgot about those Panzerfausts from Pidgeotto. Now, with some lucky dice rolls from this Ostwind, might be able to get a rear armor kill on the Churchill. I'm not entirely sure what got it there. Maybe the Pershing? Probably the Pershing. It is facing its gun in the right direction. Lots going on the board right now. Just sort of the front line has collapsed. Units all over the place behind each other. The Stuart in retreat from this Ostwind. I believe the Ostwind matches up favorably against the Stuart. I don't think the Stuart will be able to defeat this Ostwind in a one-on-one fight. Although saying that, the Ostwind is bouncing rear armor hits from the Stuart, and the Stuart is over-repaired, so looks like we are not going to see how that engagement matches up at the moment. Big push, King Tiger on for Ola Zyka. And one of these walking Stukas did manage to get out, so likely going for the 17-pounder to clear the way for the King Tiger. To then push up. Grenade goes out in the trenches, wipes out this infantry. It is still occupied by the one-man Bren squad, but that will go down against this overwhelming forces for sure, leaving that to be taken by the Axis and a Bren gun for Pidgeotto's troubles. Meanwhile, in the middle, More armor on from the Axis, a Panzer IV coming up to back up the Ostwind. A good play here because the Ostwind, if he were to get matched up against, say, the Pershing, would not be able to hold its own. But between the Panzer IV and the Ostwind, easy match for the Stuart, can outflank the 17-pounder as well. I don't see any handheld anti-tank on for the Allies at the moment. No Piats, no bazookas, which means if the Allies can deal with this Pershing, which is on its last legs, that is the biggest obstacle the Axis have to their armor play right now. And with that out of the way, the Stuart easy pickings for the combination of the Ostwind and the Panzer IV. Saying that, nice flank from the Stuart, getting in rear armor damage engine from the Ostwind as the Ostwind continues to bounce shots off the Stuart. But the Axis slowly seemed to be breaking through on the left. Looked like a Geschützwagen got a good shot on the Churchill, while the Churchill in turn misses. More Panzerfausts out from the Volks as the Churchill goes in for the crush. King Tiger. There goes the Ostwind. Well played for the Stuart. Churchill now has had its gun destroyed. Yes, nice play. Sorry we didn't get to see it, but nice play from the Stuart from Stormtrout. 23 kills and a tank on the board for this Stuart. Nice plays out of that. It is now down to 200 health, so he needs to be careful. A big hit from an anti-tank gunner, this King Tiger or something, could deal a lot of damage. But the Axis now seem to be thoroughly breaking through on the top. Little anti-tank left for the Allies. Saying that, there is a Piat now in this trench, but King Tiger has plenty of health and armor to just slowly back away, bounce these hits, no problem. 1,500 health on this behemoth left to go. Panzer IV looks like it hit a mine. And, wow, it looks like I discounted this Stuart. Although saying that wear and tear really is taking effect now. Stormtrout's just sort of taking advantage of his doctrinal upgrade to give him extra range on the Stuart to engage the Panzer IV outside of its maximum range. Seeing if he can get a lucky frontal armor penetration. Doesn't look like he's going to pursue, doesn't want to walk into an ambush, doesn't know what's coming behind him. And what is coming is more Volksgrenadiers. Perhaps likely with Panzerfausts. Another Ostwind on. Lots and lots of armor from both sides this game. I am thoroughly not sure which way this could go, because the Allies have been trading effectively with the infantry and have gotten some good plays. I'm very impressed with Stormtrout's play with the Stuart here, and now he's going to fix it up again with these advanced repair engineers. Over-repair it some more. But yes, the Axis have been taking a lot of casualties with the infantry, but conversely, the Allies have been taking a lot of casualties with armor. So this really, I think, could go either way still. The Allies have a lot of anti-tank on, which the Wagenstuka, this barrage, has thoroughly failed to neutralize, going for the 57mm. This 17-pounder needs to get in a better position, though. Pidgeotto taking advantage of his grenades to try to clear out this trench. To no avail at the moment, but again, with this overwhelming firepower, should be able to clear that out before too long. Wants to be... Ooh, nice. Panzerfaust on the 17-pounder might finish this off. There it goes. 17-pounder has been neutralized. The only anti-tank that is left on this side is the Piats in the trench, which can be easily circumvented. Just go around it. Don't even worry about it. You know, and push through, you know, the middle here. Although saying that, this 17-pounder and now a Cromwell tank are pushing up through the middle, have broken through. Axis not showing much to contest this right flank. Panzer IV is busy being repaired. I believe that's just the repair bunker behind here. Yes, indeed it is. Got to fix up that damaged engine. And in the meanwhile, the sort of ceiling on this Cromwell is this King Tiger, but the King Tiger is moving back. Doesn't want to, I suppose, I don't know. I suppose the Axis are just trying to regroup before they make another concerted push. Panzer IV's engine is fixed up, and so now it is moving to engage these riflemen before the riflemen run down these very damaged grenadiers. More anti-tank, this is the same anti-tank, now shifting over to the left to engage this King Tiger, but the King Tiger is now shifting to the right. Looks like, I believe I saw a mine getting set. Maybe it wasn't a mine, maybe it was a demo charge to destroy the shot blocker here, to sort of free up line of sight for these anti-tank guns. Big hit from, was that from the Geschützwagen? No way. Then again, the Geschützwagen has poor penetration, but it does do a lot of damage. So, oof, nice miss. Maybe it was, in fact, from the Geschützwagen. Cromwell taking advantage of its flank speed to crush these Volksgrenadiers, again with the Panzerfaust from these Volksgrenadiers. Needs to... they've access... These Volksgrenadiers have gotten a lot of mileage, I think, out of these Panzerfausts. Allies sort of underestimating these Volksgrenadiers, and to be clear, the Volksgrenadiers have been dying a lot. But these Panzerfausts... Allies have not been very wary about the Panzerfausts. The destroyed engine on the Cromwell tank. Looks like that Cromwell's days are over. Panzer IV finishes it off, not before the Cromwell gets one last retaliatory hit before it goes down. And it looks like the Allies are now beginning to make a concerted push on the left once more, with Pernuter's infantry leading the way, more riflemen from young Olaf to back them up. These rifle grenades are very dangerous for these Knights Crossholders, because the Knights Crossholders, they can easily sort of chew through unupgraded infantry, but the area of effect, there's not very many men on the Knights Crossholders, so, you know, a good grenade lands in the middle of the squad, damages these guys just like that, and they're down, you know, a third of their firepower from losing one guy. Running over the road, negative cover, get pinned down by the machine gun, more rifle grenades, doing lots of damage to these Knights Crossholders. Oh, that is a shame to see. Now they are sort of inside the optimal range for these grenades. Saying that, I don't know how this game works. Very sort of ballsy play by this rifle grenade guy. Shooting that rifle grenade at that range does manage to finish off the Knights Crossholders. Ostwind helping the MP40 Volks clean up the infantry here. King Tiger goes down. I am very disappointed that I missed the sort of play that led to that, but well done to the Allies. That is the big queen off the board. Another grenade going down in this trench. Nice hit, lots of damage, not many kills. But just sort of looking at the map here, Axis is definitely on the back foot. Now a Firefly on for the Allies. This hero Stuart trying to get away. But I think the Allies might have this one for the moment. There goes the Stuart, destroyed engine. 24 infantry kills, and who knows how much else on that Stuart. Well played by Stormtrout on that Stuart, but it is now off the board. Nothing to really protect the right side here from this Panzer IV, however, so really it looks like the Allies are trying to just sort of maximize the momentum that they have on the left, taking down these armored vehicles with the Firefly, just sort of get that off the board, and just sort of overwhelm the Allies, overwhelm the Axis with a lack of anti-tank now that they've taken out all of these things. There is a sniper now on for the Axis from Olazaika, so we'll see how that will fare with these Jeeps that are on the board already from young Olaf. And a Bren carrier carrying what? Because if this is a recon section, that could be Pernuter's. Yes, it is. It is a recon section from Pernuter, like with the recon snipe. That is the anti-sniper call-in for Pernuter to deal with the sniper. Along with the Jeeps, I feel like Olazaika is going to have to be very careful with this sniper to not get it wiped out. Meanwhile, the Jeeps are just sort of scouting around the back, see what they can find. Panzer IV rushing down the road here to just cut that off at the bud before you can see that the Axis has very little left. But the information has been gained. Jeep goes down, but now the Allies know full and well the entirety of the Axis's sort of units they have remaining on the field, and it is not very many. Although saying that, more Grenadiers coming in from Alex. The anti-sniper call-in from Pernuter, in fairly bad shape, just managed to get away from getting knocked out by all of these Volksgrenadiers. And the Volksgrenadiers charging up. Looks like Stormtrout has finally learned a lesson on these Panzerfausts and is not going to let those get off on his Vet 2 Firefly. Volks look like they're trying to take this machine gun to just sort of stop this infantry coming on from young Olaf. More BARs matches up very favorably against these Volksgrenadiers, even if the Volksgrenadiers weren't almost dead, which they are. This machine gun definitely wants to hoof it out of here so that it can get set up, but I think the BARs are just going to run it down. Now the Geschützwagen looking to finish off this Bren carrier, but the Bren carrier is not going to have any of that. All of these Volksgrenadiers are running off. Ozeka did manage to set up the machine gun, but with the Bren carrier coming around the back and the tanks coming around the front, no, he is retreating. Looks like the Axis might have had enough. Panzer IV from Alex with his Grenadiers just looking for some last couple kills here, but I think the Axis have thrown in the towel. Yep, this half-track retreating, or perhaps it's maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe just some units were looking to get preserved there, and the Axis are going to do what they can. Oof, armor rush from the Brits. Stewart gets the kill from Stormtrap. Panzer IV is down. Nothing to protect these Grenadiers. Geschützwagen just backing up to rejoin the Stug. But the Stug only called on to sort of cycle out Ozeka's remaining units as he immediately pulls them off. That is the game. For the Axis, well played to the Allies. And looks like Stormtrooper and young Olaf are going to take this one as the last of these MP40 Volksgrenadiers make a run for their lives. Sliver of health for each. Alex is wiped out. Wow, a lot going on in this game. Very chaotic. But I think, at the end of the day, it just comes down to making trades. The Axis took a lot of losses in their infantry in each engagement, and that just sort of left more units on the board for the Allies than the Axis had at the end. Some GGs all around from both sides. Looks like everyone enjoyed this game, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.